Hey, Bonnie, are you there?
I am.
How are you this morning?
I'm good. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thrilled to have you here. And I was just saying that you on Thursday mentioned that there was this place called Air Tutors that you'd heard about, that you were going to be interested in looking more at, but that it might be a solution for some of our families. I told you I was going to get them here on the show. First, you and I are going to spend some time together, and then a little bit later on this hour, Hassan Ali from Air Tutors is going to join us to talk about Air Tutors and what they do and how they might be of use to our viewers here on the show. So, Bonnie, though, is a special education attorney, and she is joining us from the Tollner Law Offices. And Bonnie, tell us a little bit about Tollner and give us a disclaimer about what you were going to talk about.
Hi, good morning, Shannon. Toner Law Offices is an aid attorney, special education disability discrimination firm. We're based in San Jose with offices in El Segundo and Irvine. We are going to be talking to you today about your legal rights under the IDEA and the California Education Code. That should not be substituted for getting specific advice about your specific problem, which we're very happy to do in California. So if you have a question, go to our website, which is can be found at Google Tollner Law Offices, TOLLNER, and you can fill in a very brief intake form, and an attorney will get back to you within 24 hours. If you're out of the state of California and you still need help, go to www.copaa.net and look in their attorney directory. There's good people listed there. I think we might have questions, but before we go back to those, I was going to kind of rip through some stuff that I found about extended school year and comp ed. Is that okay, or do you want to do the
Yes, because it goes right in with a lot of what we're going to be talking about. So yeah, go right for it.
Okay. All right.
I do have to tell you, Bonnie, that we have a huge amount of people that are watching us internationally today. From all over, but and I don't know if they're here because they want to know about the Air Tutors, but we have a large international audience today.
Wow. Well, I want to hear about the Air Tutors too. So let's get through my stuff and get through the Air Tutors. Okay. So get this. New Hampshire, place you know a lot about. Their governor, whose name is John Sununu, which is a very interesting last name to have, has a lot of use in it, just signed an order, an executive order, in consultation with disability organizations about how they're going to handle ESY and comp ed. Apparently he got in some hot water because he didn't consult with school districts. But anyway, here's what he rolled out. Wish we had something like this. By 6/30 of 2020, every school district in the state of New Hampshire is going to have met with its students and individually and determine what extended school year services they are going to get. And you don't need to ask me about a definition of ESY because I will get back to you in a minute with a definition of that. So, but anticipating that people would want that. For fall, they're saying within the first 30 days of the fall school year in New Hampshire, the district is going to have an IEP meeting with each family to determine what compensatory education they are entitled to, and I'm quoting from the order, to make up for school closure, regression, or failure to make anticipated or expected progress as far as FAPE. So that basically means that school districts cannot delay on moving on this issue for kids that are entitled to comp ed. And the comment was that although, this is one of the disability rights people in New Hampshire that they consulted with in coming up with the order, she said distance learning has worked well for some students. However, many have been left behind and regressed. So that's an interesting thing. So then they are talking to the educators about do's and don'ts for planning summer 2020 ESY offerings. And so the takeaway on that is everybody's doing it differently. Every state, every school district. In a typical year, the administration of ESY is far from predictable, but usually has dependable and similar structures from year to year. This year, special education administrators are planning for the unknown, including uncertain levels of funding, location, and timing of service, as well as teacher and student eligibility. They do have a separate article, by the way, on where the comp ed funds might come from, which is interesting. We're all in this unique situation together, and we're trying to do our best, said Kevin Rubenstein, Director of Student Services, Technology, and Assessment for the Lake Bluff, Illinois School District 65. Many localities have already determined what students will qualify for ESY summer session based on decisions made by each student's IEP team. While many IEP teams look at the regression of skills to determine qualifications for ESY, I can't read this morning, sorry. States have different standards that advise team members in those states on ESY decisions. So they talk about these different standards and the uncertainty going forward, and they make the following suggestions. Do provides ESY services, even though there's uncertainty about what and how to do it. Do collect and analyze data. Do communicate with parents. Don't automatically offer ESY to every student. Decisions about ESY eligibility and services are made by each student's IEP team based on individualized data. ESY should not be automatically offered to all students with IEPs. The idea does not mandate when ESY determination should be made, but these decisions should be made in a timely fashion. Don't confuse ESY and compensatory services. The purpose of ESY is to help students maintain skills for the provision of FAPE, whereas Comp Ed enables students to make progress and are a way to address the denial of FAPE, which would be during school closure, as outlined in a student's IEP. Both determinations are made on an individual case-by-case basis. So I don't know if you want me to stop, but I had a couple more things. 3 things to remember about Comp Ed and then the standard for ESY.
Okay, I think go ahead and continue.
Go.
Okay. Because I do think this is the new, this is the first time that we're really starting to see movement of what are we going to get for the summer and the fall. Right. And maybe, New Hampshire is going to set the bar. We don't know, but I think this is more information than we've had previously.
Okay, just remember, they say, this is them talking to school administrators. Compensatory education must be individualized to each student. While templates and formulas may assist IEP and Section 504 teams in documenting their determinations regarding Comp Ed, it is critical to remember that a student's unique circumstances must govern the need, type, and amount of compensatory services. The amount of Comp Ed a student needs may not necessarily be an hour-for-hour replacement of the services lost, and it often isn't. We could talk about why if you want, but I'm going to not get into that so much now. IEP and Section 504 teams should consider whether and how a student made progress while receiving distance instruction. And then finally, what is ESY? ESY is special education and related services that 1, are beyond the normal school year in accordance with the IEP and at no cost to parents, and 2, meets the standards of the state educational agency. ESY must be only if the IEP team determines that services are necessary for the provision of FAPE. Districts providing ESY must not limit ESY services to particular categories of disability or unilaterally limit the type, amount, or duration of services. So that's my rant. Good morning.
Well, I mean, I think it's some clarity about what ESY is and what it isn't and how it's going to be doled out. You did say something interesting there, though, about the one-to-one relationship of Comp Ed. And there, like a couple of weeks ago, we were hearing there was the potential of 2-to-1. This said it won't necessarily be 1-to-1, and you were saying there were reasons for that. I'm curious, what are you thinking it's going to be, or what do you think that means?
Well, in California, there's a case that says some things about Comp Ed and limits how much you can have. or may limit how much you can have. If people want more info on that, I can look at the California comp ed cases, because that might be very interesting to peek at. So let me do that. But that proposal was from a disability rights organization that was proposing 2-to-1 comp ed. And I think I said at the time, it's nice, but it'll never happen. You know,
Okay.
so I mean, this, you know, we aren't really, we don't really have guidance yet on the full impact of the school closure because it's not over yet. So we can't really look at that. We'll have to look at past cases and individual scenarios and what kind of compensatory education they were able to obtain. It's obviously easier if you have an expert. You can usually kind of consult with the expert and they can recommend an amount of compensatory education and a rationale for same. Like if comp ed is supposed to be intended to make up for a denial of FAPE, seems to me you'd have to look at what FAPE is, what FAPE was supposed to be, and then, you know, start to back it out from there. Same analysis with ESY. You got to look at, you know, what is the recoupment regression relationship, and then you can start talking about what it's going to take to get the student, you know, back up and running when school opens, because we anticipate there's going to be some regression, but we'd like the student to be back up to where they were within the first month of school. And if it's going to take them 3-4 months to get back to where they were, they're going to miss all that new learning that's going on simultaneously. These are always going to be individualized determinations. And the more evidence you have that supports your position, the more likely it is that you're going to get something meaningful.
Okay. I think we've got time for one question here. Can I throw it at you? It's full of jargon. It's full of jargon that I don't know. And so I don't know. My son turned 3 in March. We had our first ARD meeting for PPCD. I don't know if that's a school district or something else, in February. And he's approved for special ed and also 30 minutes a week speech therapy. We couldn't enroll him when he turned 3 because of our school district being closed indefinitely due to COVID. My question is, if he's enrolled for fall semester, will he get the 30-minute speech therapy in some way, in home or online, even if the district is closed for in-school services?
Well, there should be an online enrollment mechanism that you can take advantage of. Go back to the district website. I don't think it's okay to prevent you from enrolling and then saying their unilateral prevention of enrollment means you don't get the services beforehand. I think whatever your game is, you need to step it up a little. And I want to say this in the nicest way, but you got to reach out to the superintendent and the director of special education. And you got to tell them that you want to work with them, but you're really frustrated and, you know, you feel like your next step is going to be consulting with an attorney and you don't want to be in the position of having compensatory education because your student really needs the services now. You know, I poke things a lot and I get things moving. I get things unlog jammed. And it's not that I'm doing anything particularly miraculous. It's just that I know where to poke. So, you know, if you're dealing with an administrator and your situation is going nowhere, you get her supervisor's name and you work your way up the chain of command and you make some noise and you're going to get the clot unstuck.
There we go. It's so hard, I think, especially when you have a 3-year-old, because, you know, this family is probably new to this process.
Yeah, they are.
And you don't know what you don't know, right? So, and especially it's COVID, so this seems like a new circumstance. So they tell you, oh yeah, enroll your child, you're going to get services. Sorry, you can't enroll, we're having COVID. And, you know, you don't know what, but I agree with Bonnie, go back and take the truth.
Yeah, I think, oops, whoa, what did I just do wrong?
You're there. We have you.
Okay. I just want to look up because from what I remember, there's a really fabulous attorney in Texas who I think totally. Yeah. This guy, Martin Cirkiel, Cirkiel. He is in Round Rock, Texas. I'll send Shannon his website.
Okay.
He's the person you should talk to because I when I was licensed in Texas, which I'm not anymore, I gave it up, but I talked to him And I thought he was super cool. Like,
Okay.
he's who you want to talk to. So let me just send his stuff to Shannon right now.
Okay.
That's what you need to do. Talk to him. But my comments, I think, should apply in all states, which is you got to go up the chain of command. And if you bug somebody enough, it's likely that they're going to pay attention to you because they want to make you shut up. And I'm really quite proud of myself because I just had somebody do a sleazy Airbnb cancel. They said I could cancel for full refund because of COVID, and then they kind of changed their tune, although I had an email. And I basically just wrote Airbnb, and I'm like, listen, I'm an attorney. I know how to file a lawsuit in small claims court. I hope it doesn't have to come to that. Here's what happened. And I'm going to call you every single day until we get this resolved. Anyway, I woke up on Sunday morning to an inbox from Airbnb saying, good news. You got to keep at it, guys. It's really hard to be that obnoxious, but that's what you have to do. So
persistence. Our topic last week was the Maya Angelou quote, never take a no from somebody who wasn't authorized to give you a yes.
Thank
so
you.
Gotta
Thank
be
you. That's
persistent.
beautiful.
Hey, thanks for watching Autism Live. To subscribe, click here. And if you'd like to check out some more of our videos, click here.